Good evening. Regular meeting called to order. Please stand for the invocation.
Please bow your heads. Oh, gracious Father, we thank you. We come to you, Heavenly Father. Thank you for this day. We thank you for those that have assembled. We thank you for those that sit in this seat, Heavenly Father. We ask that you guide us and you keep us and you allow us to do what is best for this parish, Heavenly Father. These blessings I ask in your Son, Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Follow me in the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, do we have any awards? I don't think so. Announcements. For the jurors, we have an announcement in front of you for the DeSoto Parish Extended Office staff. Invites you to enjoy a Christmas luncheon Friday, December the 8th, 2023, noon until around 2. That'll be up at the 4-H building. Any call for additions and deletions to the agenda? Yes, I have 2, which will go under old business. 1, approve the final quantity adjustment change order number 3 for Powell Road with a reduction in the cost of $4,156.66. That's to be number 1 on the old business. Number 2, authorize the president to sign the update indemnification with neighbors' property north of the landfill in conjunction with construction of the biomethane gas processing. That would be number 2.
I can't hear you.
So moved.
Okay, got a motion by Mr. Rowe.
Second?
Second.
Got a second by Mr. Baker, Mr. Holmes. Roll call vote, Mr. Fuller.
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Those 2 items will be added to the agenda on the old business.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
our president, item number 7 should be deleted.
Well, I'm gonna got 2 of them, 7 and 9, I'm gonna delete.
Okay.
So we'll be adding those 2 to the agenda for additions. And also, we're gonna delete number 7 on the new business, and number 9 on the new business as well. Have a motion?
Mr. President, before you do it, I have one I want to.
Oh, yes, sir.
put on. Do culvert repair on the driveway on Highway 175. It's been approved by our state representative Bagley, who contacted Mr. North, who is over all of the state highways in this area, northwest Louisiana. And he gave us the blessing to go ahead and repair that.
Okay.
Replacing a culvert
Right,
for 170, on 175?
right, on 175.
Yeah.
That's on a new business, correct?
Yes, be up on the new business.
Okay.
Can I get a motion? You make that motion, Mr. Jones?
I do.
I second it. Roll call vote, Mr. Baker?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Added to the agenda on the new business. Okay, so we'll move down to president report. Oh, I'm sorry. I got a motion on the floor for the deletions. I'll make the motion.
Second.
I got a second by Mr. Kennington. Roll call vote, Mr. Fuller.
Aye.
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 All right.
Motion passes. So items 7 and 9 will be deleted from new business.
Okay.
President report, none. Council report,
None.
administrative report.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. First item on there is the capital outlay road grant has been submitted. The road program that was submitted increased from a $40 million request in 2022 to a $60 million request this year. You can find attached to the administrator's report a copy of the application listing all the roads for the 2023 year. Item 2, DOTD work on Highway 5 and Highway 3015. If you recall, in 2 separate emails that were sent on or around November 1st, DOTD had announced a project to repair a portion of LA 5 stretching from Thomas Road near Logansport to LA 172 at the town of Keachai. Construction is anticipated to begin this month and stretch until late 2024. The other project DOTD announced was a bridge closure on 3015 over Bushneck Bayou. However, they just announced about an hour and a half ago that bridge is open. So just to make y'all aware of that. Number 3, the 4-H building rentals. The workers at the 4-H barn have had a lot more than normal interest in the use of the building, and therefore a lot of people have been showing up making inquiries. Some of the inquiries require a worker to walk with them and assist them taking measurements of the rooms. A request from the ag agent has been made to lock the front door when there is one person in the office and place a sign on the door asking for anyone who shows up to call and request an appointment to do a visual inspection of the grounds. This has happened twice within the past few months where someone has shown up and there was only one employee there, and when they go to give them a tour, other people will walk in the building and just kind of walk around making themselves at home. This is not advisable, and for the safety of those employees, I'd like to implement that and let you guys know if there's any objection to me doing that. I'm just going to have them place a sign on the door saying, please call this number to make an appointment so you can come and take your measurements, because people who rent the facility, they want to come in, they want to measure where they can put their tables and things like that. Number 4, Stately Road update. Water District Number 1 contacted me and made me aware of an issue they are having with the railroad company requiring the use of specific contractors to run the water line under the track. Due to an enormous increase in cost, the original cost was just around $20,000, had increased to over $100,000 due to the work that they're requiring be done utilizing their contractors, the railroad's contractors. Water District has done a reroute to another location. They are just making us aware of the delay. There will be no additional cost to the jury for this. Number 5, the current plumbing project at the courthouse. I'm sure some of you have seen the hole that has been left open on the lawn just east of the courthouse. There was another leak that required a plumbing contractor to dig yet another hole to fix the ongoing issue. It was communicated to the contractor to leave the hole open until it can be determined that there will be no further leaks on the new line that was just put in. As soon as the rain has passed, they will be pumping the hole dry and filling it with dirt. Hopefully that will be tomorrow. Number 6, the road department has a Christmas party that's planned for December 15th at noon. The jurors are invited to that. Number 7, Sam Booker Road and George Hunt Road work is complete. Jurors, if you have the time, please make a point of going down George Hunt Road and Sam Booker Road. These are 2 roads where projects that the oil and gas companies completed and built to the parish standards due to the increased degradation of road surface from the activity they generate. They bore the cost of these repairs 100%. The jury did not have to do any additional work. It was all the oil and gas companies. Number 8, the safety meeting with LUBA with solid waste, road, and maintenance. The department heads from Solid Waste, Road and Maintenance Department attended a safety meeting training session hosted by our LUBA Workman's Comp Senior Loss Control Specialist this past week. The topic for discussion was how to properly conduct a safety meeting. It is the plan to have the loss control specialist from LUBA to come out and do inspections once a quarter. We currently do a safety meeting once a month at the Road Department and the Maintenance Department, and a safety meeting every 2 weeks at the Solid Waste Department. Number 9, the biomethane update. The construction of the piping and gas wells is anticipated to start in February or March of 2024. This will be a 6-month project. The blower flare facility to immediately follow that construction. Flow from the gas system to begin November or December of this year. There will be typically a peak flow increase during the initial stages of this, but the jury, after that time, the flow in January will essentially normalize. For budgeting purposes, we will not get paid until 2025. We should have an idea in preparation for the budget of next year, how much we're gonna get in royalties off of this. I just wanted to bring this to y'all's date, because I just had a meeting last week with biomethane and our engineers at Solid Waste, and they gave us that update. There's a timeline we're working on. Number 10, NextLink Internet and Tenera Wireless Tech meeting for the jurors to attend on December 4th from 10 to 12 at the DeSoto Parish Chamber of Commerce. This meeting is to discuss the gumbo dollars that they may have access to. I've submitted also, behind your administrator's report, you should have a copy of a letter giving you the invitation and the information on those gumbo dollars for DeSoto Parish, and some information on what they're gonna present at that December 4th meeting. That's what I have to report. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. I apologize. I skipped guests and public comments. Do we have any guests and public comments? Come up, sir.
How we doing, everybody?
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Michael Dubriel with Hub International.
Colby Delahousie with Hub International.
Thank you all so much for allowing us to come in person and present to you all. Colby and I had the opportunity to submit a proposal on behalf of the police jury, an insurance proposal for the upcoming 2024 health insurance. We, 2 weeks ago from today, or 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago from today on Monday, November 6th, we came and we presented the proposal. We even had the insurance company come and sit next to us so that you all could ask us any questions about the proposal to make you feel comfortable. During that meeting, it's a big budget item. I think we can all understand that, $2 million budget item. You all wanted some days to look over the proposals and make a better informed decision. So the vote was pushed to Thursday, November 9th. Colby and I unfortunately weren't able to make that meeting, so we watched it on YouTube, as I'm sure some of you know that. When we were watching it on YouTube, there were some inaccuracies that were stated, either about Hub or about our proposal, and we felt that it was right for us to come and set the record straight on that, because we feel some of these items were used to persuade your decision against us. And so again, that's why we're here today. We just wanted to set the record straight and so that you could all make the most informed decision that you can on this budget item. Starting when the meeting led off, there was a gentleman who came up here who was a third party who reviewed the proposals. Right on the initial onslaught of the meeting, it was stated that Hub's proposal was not firm. And he was flipping through the pages of our proposal and said on page 2, you can read in little black letters that it says, proposal is subject to final enrollment, what have you. Just 5 lines below that, it says firm proposal. We have it here with us today. It's dated October 26th, 2024, or 2023, excuse me. This misinformation immediately discredited our proposal and discredited Hub and the work that we've done to this point, which we've worked with Lily and Michael for over a year now. We were asked to submit a formal RFP. We did that. Their recommendation was to hire us to be your broker and be your representation based on the service, support, and resources that we can provide you and your employees. And then you all asked us to go out and get the best proposal that we could find. And so we didn't just go to 90-degree benefits. I know there was some concern about the medical proposal and some of the benefits that were in there. We went out to Blue Cross, we went out to Cigna, we went out to Aetna, we shopped the entire market, but based on the feedback that we got from your team, which was best cost, best benefits, we felt that that was the right proposal to submit to you all. It was a firm proposal, and so I do just want to state that again. Also in that meeting was a few things that The hub rep said we get very aggressive. The only way to translate that is they're going to pinpoint, eliminate, reduce services and access to care. By no means did we say we were ever going to eliminate or cut away or reduce access to care. In fact, we wanted to support the local hospital and actually reduce the deductibles and out-of-pocket cost for the employees. All of this came in a reduction in price. But I'm not here to sit here and say, hey, I want to sell you on our proposal. What I want to do is sell you on Hub and who we are, because you all made the decision, and you'll vote on it tonight, to renew as is. And that's totally fine. You made that decision, and that's probably what's right for you and your employees. But we, Colby and I, can still represent you. And just a reminder, we do have the largest block of business with United Healthcare in the state. We represent over 70 municipalities in the state. This is an area of business that we know extremely well. And I think we're extremely well equipped to negotiate your renewal better than what your current administration can do. Each percentage point off of your renewal represents $25,000 reduction in premium. Again, due to our leverage and due to our size, I feel like we can represent you and your employees better than what you're getting today. So what I ask of you now is, based on the formal RFP that we submitted that showed all the resources and support that we could bring you, and Michael and Lily agreed and suggested us to be your broker, and then based on the feedback to say, hey, can you go out and find us the best proposal? And we did. And the incumbent broker tried to go out to that same TPA to get our proposal a week after we met with Michael and Lily, but couldn't because we had already brought it forward. Allow us the opportunity to work with you all, even though you're staying with United Healthcare. You've been with your current broker for many years, and I think that's well documented. You know what you're going to get from them and their administration. You don't know what you're going to get from Hub, and that's going to be excellent service, excellent resources, and ongoing support. Mr. Parker, you mentioned that you wanted to meet more often with your insurance brokers. We meet with our clients of your size 4 times a year. This isn't a decision that comes up in November and we say, hey, take this 27% increase, and you either got to decide now or maybe we can push it off. This is an ongoing conversation that happens throughout the year with all of our clients. So again, Colby, I don't know if you want to say anything, but I just want to leave y'all with, we'd love the opportunity to represent y'all. If anything we say or do is not living up to what the standard we set today, you have no contract with Hub. You can fire us if what we're telling you is false. And so we'd love your trust and support in hiring us, letting us represent you, and showing you the great work that we can do and that we do for our clients.
Yep. So just to follow up with Michael, I appreciate y'all listening to us and all the work. We've actually enjoyed getting to know Michael and Lily throughout this whole process. So before I kind of close things up, are there any questions from the jurors about our proposal, about our resources that we haven't answered yet?
I got 2.
Yes, sir. Mr. Kennington?
So in your proposal,
Yes, sir.
everybody pretty much, they have to agree that our claims were around 1.9 million.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's last year or that's what we're projected to be this year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember which
Last
number.
year.
Last year?
Yes, sir.
So how are your proposal has those claims at around 1.2 million.
Mm-hmm.
How are you cutting 700,000 in claims?
Great question. So first to state, we aren't the underwriters on this. We are representing DeSoto Parish Police Jury, so we're working for you. We aren't the ones who set the rates, neither are your current broker. It's a matter of just going out to all the markets and asking all the right questions with the underwriters. I'll let Michael go into the details of where the underwriters came up with that number. But whenever just want to make sure that it's not us who are setting these rates. It's a matter of us being the experts in that line of business.
So the proposal that we went out and got, the stop-loss carrier was able to, they take an average of the last 36 months of claims, and they average that out. So it's not just based on 1.9 last year. It's actually, because your claims were lower 2 years prior than that. And they average that out. They take out all the shock claims because that gets reimbursed by stop-loss. And then all of the pharmacy rebates also go into that number. So that's the reason it was so low. When you think about the pharmacy rebates, you can estimate about 6% of your total spend, which was $2 million this year, just a hair below. About 6% of that would go back into your program from pharmacy rebates. So those are just a few things of how our numbers came back lower than what you're currently paying.
So what happens if hypothetically we go with you guys on that plan, which that plan's not even up tonight, but if we went with that proposal
Absolutely.
that you guys made and our claims end up being 2 million or 1.9, just take what they were last year, end up being 1.9, isn't that gonna kill us come renewal time?
So it's a great question. Let's state the facts. This is a firm proposal. The savings are on the board for this year. There's no doubt about it. Underwriters are in the business to make money with insurance carriers. So there was a lot of thought that went into this. So let's say worst case scenario happens, you meet your max spec, your max ag, you meet the laser, all that. $1.89 million is the max spend, correct? Next year, you'll then see a renewal based off of your projected claims for next year, just like you currently do right now. But with all that being said, say it's worst case scenario, you reach that max. Worst case scenario, you're just gonna receive a renewal next year from the stop loss where we'll go in to negotiate, and that's what we do. And then we'll take a look at next year's renewal. So the savings are on the board for this year, and then we look at next year's renewal and negotiate. So say we receive a 20% increase on the 1.8 million, that's still less than what we're looking at right now with United Healthcare.
Okay, my second question, and
Yes, sir.
I'm done. How do y'all access, y'all mentioned a lot about DeSoto Regional and the Mansfield Hospital. How are you accessing that hospital?
Michael?
What do you mean by accessing that hospital?
I don't know. I'm not a physician and I don't sell insurance, but
From a TPA standpoint.
yeah, I mean, I talked to the director of the hospital, and he told me to have y'all call him if we ended up, you know,
I'd be happy
thinking
to
about
talk with
going
him.
with you guys
Yeah.
or anybody else.
Mhm.
But he had never heard of the access point that we talked about that night in the meeting.
Well, there's no,
And so he was wondering
Access
how you
point.
access his hospital for care.
well, it's in the network. It's in the Verity network. So it's not necessarily, we're not doing anything out of the ordinary. It's in the network. It's in the Verity network. So strictly from an access standpoint, and I think this is what you're hinting at, is we're not contracting with them directly to try to get a lower rate. All we're doing is we're lowering the deductible and we're lowering the out-of-pocket costs for the employees. And, you know, in this economy, in this market, everybody wants to pay lower for a cost of good, right? And so healthcare is no different. If I can spend less money out of pocket and go to DeSoto Regional or go to Willis-Knighton and pay double, I'd rather go right down the street.
Yeah.
And so it's not accessing the facility. The facility's in a network, but it's just trying to steer your employees with a lower cost deductible or out of pockets.
Your claim is Verity is in his network, and they do business with him.
That's right.
Correct, yes, sir. And the TPA then is able to process those claims that's with DeSoto. And through their system, they'll be able to see, oh, this was done at DeSoto, so the employee's deductible is now 500 instead of 1,000.
And we confirmed all this with Lily and Michael. They asked us for, I think it was 5 different hospital systems, and are they in network? And we all confirmed they were. And DeSoto Regional was the main one.
Yeah. Any other questions? I know I don't want to take up too much of y'all's time.
Let's say we don't do the thing with United Healthcare.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's say we go into, straight into being self-insured.
Yes, ma'am.
What can y'all do for us with that?
In what way, ma'am?
just say tonight, we don't go with United Healthcare for the 2 or 3 months or whatever they said, and we just go into being just straight self-insured, to the self-insured plan with Blue Cross Blue Shield.
There's not a carrier that we're not licensed with. So if you want to go self-funded with Blue Cross, we can do it. If you want to go self-funded with United Healthcare or UMR, we can do it. If you want to go with 90-degree benefits, which is the proposal that we brought to you all, we can do it. We're licensed with every medical carrier on the market. We personally write the health insurance for Willis-Knighton and Natchitoches Regional. So if any of your employees, ever access care at those facilities, we have great relationships with those 2 facilities to try to help negotiate charges or any of that. So, Ms. Jerry, I don't know if that helps answer your question, but as far as the decision tonight, if there's any route that you want to go, and I guess that's the point that I've been trying to make, is any decision that you make as far as health insurance and which plan you want to go with, you could still hire our team at Hub to walk you through that process. And then help ongoing. I know you've had some claims issues in the past. We have an entire team that's going to be dedicated to you and your employees. And so if you ever need to be either walk through a claim or you have an outstanding balance that you need help, we're going to work with those facilities directly instead of you having to go to United Healthcare or those facilities.
Does that help answer it, Ms.
Yeah.
Sherry?
Yeah, it does.
It's simply put it, we're working for you all. We're not working for the insurance carriers. Our job is to shop the market and make sure y'all are getting the best bang for y'all buck. Any other questions? Okay, to simply put it, Mike was going over what we've all done in the past year for the police jury. Initially, it was to go out to request for a proposal and talk about Hub's resources. Back in June, Lily and Michael recommended that y'all move to Hub. Then y'all said, well, let's see numbers. We then went out to the market and covered the entire market and brought the best proposal in place. Now, we're not saying that that proposal is, you have to choose that proposal with going with Hub. That's not the case, but simply y'all asked us to bring numbers. So we were vetted on the resources and we were then vetted on the cost. So my question to you all is simply, what's our next step in order to gain DeSoto Parish Police Jury's trust?
Anyone else?
That man.
Well, to be honest and to be fair, this time is for guest and public comments and questions from us. It's never been allowed to go reverse to where y'all ask questions of us,
Yep.
Totally.
So I'm just being honest.
No, it's fine.
Not being rude.
It can be rhetorical.
Yep.
But I think the point that he was just trying to make is that we've done what's been asked of us, and if we had the opportunity to work for you, we would really appreciate it, and we'd love to show you the work we can do. And again, if we don't live up to the expectation that we set, which is high, totally aware of that, you all can leave us at any time. It's a month-to-month contract with the insurance company, so just keep that in mind.
All right,
So
guys.
thank y'all so much.
Yeah,
Thank you for your time.
Thank y'all so much, guys.
Okay, we down to the lobbyist, report. Mr. Chance.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the jury. All right, so as you all know, we're knee-deep in transition period with the new Landry administration. I've been actively involved in many different meetings and transition activities that are taking place. So far, there's not been a huge amount of hiring done, but most notably for our issue, which of course is budgetary, severance tax related, they hired former Speaker Taylor Barra. He's a banker and from Iberia Parish. His deputy that they hired ran the House Appropriations Committee for about 25 years. Know them both well. They're very good and know the subject matter. And again, DOA is the kind of the umbrella agency for the whole state, so they handle the budget for all state agencies and everything else. They also hired a DEQ secretary, Aurelia. I'm not sure how to say her last name, but I did get to meet her. She is a former official from the Trump administration and also the first African-American female to hold that role. She's got a lot of good ideas about streamlining things. I know y'all have had some DEQ issues in the past, and so she seems to be hitting the ground running. I do think over the next, after Thanksgiving, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, you'll probably have quite a few hirings come out for cabinet level. So notably for y'all would be things like LDR, Department of Revenue, the Department of Transportation, things of that nature. We do expect that the Senate President will be Cameron Henry from the New Orleans area, and that the House Speaker will be Philip de Villiers from Eunice. All of the other chairmanships are not determined at this time, but they'll all be settled out in early January. Certainly the Appropriations Committee, the Senate Finance Committee, that's where severance tax bills go, and so those are very important. Mr. Norton mentioned that the capital outlay request was submitted with a larger number than the previous year. And I would say so long as you're not getting your share of the severance tax, you need to ask for what you deserve. So that, don't feel bad about that at all. I will be talking, certainly Representative Bagley is very familiar with this issue. And I know that we've all talked to both Seaball and Presley over the last several months. But I will be sitting down with them personally to go over the capital outlay request and answer any questions that they may have, as well as the administration, incoming administration. Certainly, Representative Bagley intends to continue to work on the severance tax issue from the House side. I did speak with Senator-elect Thomas Presley. He said he'll file a bill for the parish coming from the Senate side as well. That's always helpful when you have two different instruments working it from both directions, so that's good. I haven't got to talk to Seaball about it, but I feel confident he will be supportive and helpful with that as well. And then just notably, the incoming DOA commissioner is from Iberia Parish, and that is one of the parishes that would benefit from the changes that need to be made. And so I think that that's noteworthy and a good thing. So I did have a meeting the other day with Philip de Villiers, the likely House Speaker, and we talked about this specifically. He's very familiar with the issue, and things are going to be in flux for the next couple months, but we are going to work really hard on this in the next upcoming session. And that's all I have for tonight. Any questions?
Any questions, Mr. Chance? Thank you.
Thank y'all, and have a good Thanksgiving.
As well.
Come next month.
Treasurer, financial report.
Good evening. Hopefully y'all had a chance to look over the financials report. Before I go into that, I wanted just to let y'all know y'all have in your folder, a manila folder with the budget for road and general fund. Tentative schedule to have that on Monday for road, Monday, November 27th, and then November 28th is a Tuesday for the general budget. Talked to Mr. Baker, the chairperson. He's good with those dates. In doing that, we'd like to have the whole 2024 proposed budget to y'all at a special meeting after the December 4th regular committee meetings. That way we can actually run the ad and have our 10 days, have the public hearing, and have it adopted by December the 18th is the dates we're shooting for. So just call me if y'all have any questions on any of that after y'all get to look at it. For the October financial reports, the revenues have exceeded the budget amounts by $1,067,664. Most of the increase continues to be from the royalty and the from royalties from the oil industry. On the expense side, our professional fees for the DA is over budget by $60,958. This is due to the Brian Horn trial. Small equipment purchases under finance and government. That's over budget by $18,036. However, we are carrying ARPA funds from last year that will make up for that. Travel is also over budget by $1,445 under finance and government. Some of this is due to booking for registration for the Police Association Conference in February. Try to book that ahead to get the early bird specials on that. The fleet expense under the other government is over budget due to an error in billing. That will be corrected next month. We try to catch it early before it hit the bank, but didn't have any luck. We'll get a credit next month. Under the cultural, recreation, sports, the sports complex, Garrett Park, those expenses are over budget. There's just been a lot of maintenance issues lately on those parks. It's the same thing for the service centers that we have, the Holly and the Keachai Long Street. And as y'all have been aware, the 4-H David Means building under the community development section, that is over budget too. Just a lot of electrical stuff happening, the roof leaking. So I'm hoping once we get the roof and all that installation, we'll have less maintenance on those. But overall, the general fund, the total expenses are about 75%, which is about 8% lower than the budgeted amount for expenses. On the road fund, the revenues are about 2% higher than the budgeted amount. Most of that is coming from the sales tax. That's exceeding the budget by $886,838. On the expense side of that, materials and supplies is over budget by $22,876. And then your road and bridge materials over budget by $473,895. However, we did a transfer for $533,621 from ARPA to cover that. And based on the budget meetings that we have, we're going to end up closing that fund. So there's an additional $383,000 that will come from ARPA to close that fund. That will be transferring to the road fund. Operating expenses are about 86%. That's right about 3% higher than the budget projections at this time on the budget, while the capital expenditures are about 18%. Witness and jurors, total revenues exceed budget revenues by $67,118, while the expenses are about 17.71%. Talked to the judge, that a transfer is in the works. I talked to her this past week, so we're gonna go ahead and get that hopefully this month and try to appropriate the funds where those expenses took, which is the criminal court fund, and then we had some from general fund. The jail fund revenues have exceeded the budgeted amounts for the year by $205,076. $177,367 comes from the sales tax. Overall expense is at 48%, with most of that higher expenses being from medical and expenses and supplies. Correctional facility, no activity as far as the expenses. You will see that there's a reimbursement from the Sheriff's Department in the amount of $476,401, and there's no expenses for October. Solid waste, the revenues are about 13% above projections, with sales tax exceeding the budget by $266,051 and investment earnings exceeding the budget by $146,180. Overall expenses are at 61% for the landfill and 82% at the compactor sites. Capital outlay went up by about 10% from last month, and it's now at 20.87%. Overall expenses, including capital for the fund, it's at 49%. Criminal court fund, you still have a deficit on that fund for $15,928. This will be taken care of by the end of the month, hopefully in November, but no later than December. Like I said, we are working on getting that transfer, that court order from the judge to take care of that. Office of Community Service, there is a deficit in the amount of $109,152. I just got a reimbursement from weatherization in the amount of $134,289. Got that on November the 15th, I believe. And then, of course, y'all have in today's agenda approval of transferring $120,000 from the general fund. Airport revenues are at 41%, while the operating expenses are at 74%. In the ARPA, like we discussed in committee, be rolling everything to the general fund and some to road, and that will close out the ARPA fund. Rental assistance, the revenues are at 81%, while expenses are at 82%. Eastside Sewer, for the month of October, we paid $1,535 for utilities. Animal Services Fund, not much has changed in revenue. It increased about 1% from September to October. The overall expenses are at 75%, which is about 8% lower than the budgeted expenses amount. Sinking fund, no activity. I will be doing that transfer from solid waste by year end. Does anybody have questions?
No, ma'am, thank you.
Make a motion to approve the financial report.
Second.
Got a motion to approve the financial statement by Mr. Baker, second by Mr. Jones. Discussion? There's no discussion, please vote. Motion passes. Approval of minutes. Motion to approve October 16th, 2023 regular meeting, October 19th, 2023 Budget and Finance Committee meeting, November the 2nd, 2023 Budget and Finance Committee meeting, November the 6th, 2023 Administrative, Budget and Finance, Insurance, Solid Waste, Roads, Airport, Special Meeting, November the 9th, 2023 Budget and Finance and Insurance Committee meeting.
So moved.
Got a motion made by Mr. Rowe,
Second.
second by Mrs. Bard Simpson. Discussion? There's no discussion, please vote. Motion passes. Okay. Old business. Appoint James Martin to the DeSoto Parish Planning Commission for a 6-year term.
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Kennington,
Second.
a second by Mr. Baker. Discussion? There's no.
Mr. Martin's here if anybody wants to meet him. He came down.
Yes, sir, would you please stand? Yeah. Thank you.
We've struggled,
Yeah.
finding somebody that'll come to the meetings, and they've had a lot of issues lately of getting a quorum to have a meeting. And, I've told him, you know, and the one thing is, he asked me to serve. I didn't go after him. And the second thing is, I asked him on the phone, you know, can you make the meetings? Because that's most important.
Right.
How many people we got on this end on that planning commission? No,
He's retired from Union Pacific Railroad.
how many people we got on the planning commission from this end of the parish? One?
Yeah.
I got one. I got one.
But like he stated, it's hard finding people to sit on all these boards.
Well, if I had known we needed somebody, I might have could come up with some. We don't know till it's on this agenda. They just even a vacancy.
Yeah, they still need
Right,
still
still
need other
needs-
people. If you
Think two, still need two people.
Well, that's the planning commission. I tried to put bid a card on one that they denied every time.
Mr. Baker, Ms. Burrell, Mr. Fuller, Mr. Parker.
Please vote. Motion passes. Number 6, award low bid for David Means 4H building roof replacement.
So we gotta,
make the motion just to get to discussion.
Okay. Got a
second.
motion by Mr. Kenton, second by
Second.
Mr. Trina Bard. Discussion.
What's the low bid?
We got it right here somewhere. Community.
Who's it with?
OB. We didn't get
No,
no
it's not
commission to
Terry's.
bid that out.
Yes, we did.
No, we did what we said was.
We did.
They was
Yes,
gonna
we-
see
we-
which one it was gonna be the
So
bid.
not in your spot,
Just
Yes.
the sheet with all of them.
oh, okay.
The sheet. It's after all those minutes.
Oh, God.
It's in your packet.
It was in here.
Look like, commercial
Page
industrial
59.
service.
Okay.
What's the low bid?
Is that a complete pull the metal off, put new metal on?
No, it's a re-roof system. It's gonna leave the existing metal in place. We're gonna put a layer of insulation down, some clips, and it'll be a standing seam roof that'll go back over, no exposed fasteners. So it'll be a recover system. But it'll be all new metal. It won't be a fabric or a spray on or anything like that.
You know the lifespan of that, or Mr. Rowe, do you know the lifespan of that?
It's a longer than we're gonna be here.
It is.
Good answer.
And the good thing about it, it's a standing seam, so there's no screw holes
How
or
much
nothing
the
like
bid
that in
for?
there.
Is that a pretty good deal, pretty good price on that?
251.
I thought, I don't know, maybe I
commercial.
Better
missed
than five,
something.
it was 500,000.
No,
I-
no,
400,
Y'all approved
Four.
$400,000.
We approved.
Yes, sir.
We approved 400,000, when we did that. Cause last I
Probably
remember,
2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been
It's
four,
before we
three or
took
four
it out
months.
to bid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
It's
it
been a
was
while.
up to 400,000 to come out of the, Economic Development Fund.
They had they were discussing two things, Miss Burrell. One, spraying that stuff on top
yeah,
for like
that's
80,000.
what I thought,
And then the other one was 400,000.
Band-Aid on it.
huh?
Yeah, the $80,000 was just gonna be
It's just gonna put a
Band-Aid.
Band-Aid on it. We're gonna be right back here again.
Excuse me, was it 400,000 to do it, or was it just to say, we won't go over that if we do it?
Well, they thought, they were saying it was 400,000, and I think I made the motion to let's get a bid just to see what it costs, to see what we're looking at.
I thought that's what we
And,
said.
and
We
that's,
never approved to do it, from what I remember.
no,
No,
that
y'all,
was,
y'all had to approve 400, up to spending $400,000.
that motion,
in
Pat,
the
we hadn't
budget.
approved to do the job.
Yeah, we haven't approved it.
Correct.
This
We just
tonight
approved to
is
get the
y'all
bids.
accepting
Get
the
the
low
bids
bid.
and set the money aside.
I know, but this ain't if we're gonna do it here.
Yeah.
This is if
Right.
we're gonna
Yes.
do
Yes.
it.
Yes, sir.
For
We
the
just
two,
act for, to see what will be, like I say.
for the 251,000.
Mr. Fuller, by law, you have to set aside the money before you put it out to bid.
Yes.
So all these contractors aren't doing all this work for something you don't have any intention doing.
I mean, I don't have no problem with that, but what I'm thinking, I'm like Mr. Fuller now. I thought they said, let's see what it was gonna cost us and then come back to it. I mean, then see it on here to approve the low bid, so you done put stuff already in place. To me, that's just putting it in place. I mean, I don't wanna see it approve the low bids when we ain't discussed nothing else about it. Cause last I remember, we had two different options that we was trying to discuss. That's what I'm thinking.
And we still do.
Right.
Just now we know the hard costs to fix it.
To fix it.
Okay.
It's the same, nothing's changed. They just, I mean, I didn't put it on the agenda, but
Yes,
some,
it is. You didn't change cause it's on there to accept the low bid.
well, but we can reject it. If we don't want to do it, we can reject it. But if, I don't know building stuff, but if, I know people in the room that do, one up here on the jury with us, if that's a good price, and Lily says it's coming out of the Economic Development Fund, if I understood you right.
Yes,
You-
that
you-
was the
you-
motion.
If you don't do it now, you ain't gonna be able to afford it in another 2 or 3 years.
Sure ain't, cause we gonna be broke.
How many
I
square
can
feet?
tell y'all
Yeah,
that
that was all
now.
about to ask. How many square feet was that building?
22, Brian's reminding me, 22,000?
Okay.
And the roof was leaking, wasn't it, Kevin?
20,157.
Yeah, currently you have an R panel roof up there, it has exposed fasteners, and there's two seams in it, 'cause you have 3 panels to cover that whole roof. This new system's gonna go back, no exposed fasteners, standing seam roof, and it's gonna be one continuous panel all the way from the bottom to the top.
Right.
You won't have any seams
In
horizontal
between, yeah.
as well.
Okay.
Okay, so they're gonna take all the money out of economic development? Is anything gonna be left for economic development?
No, ma'am, there's money in there.
Okay, I just wanna know. Cause I had some economic development projects I wanted to try to put forward.
Okay, if there's no more question, would you please vote?
Thank you. Economic development, we ought to be developing something gonna bring some revenue back to the past.
I have one question.
Yes,
This 200, the low bid, the $251,250, that is the cost that they're saying that they're gonna fix this problem.
Replace it.
Right.
Okay.
That's their bid too.
I mean, I understand that, but, my problem with it is economic development should be spent on economic development to something that's gonna bring us some revenue. We keep investing all this kind of money in these places that don't bring us no kind of revenue back to the parish. We need to start focusing on
Do we have any
things that's
information
gonna
on this?
bring revenue back to this parish.
I have a question. I mean, do we have any information? We got information on these companies?
Yes, finance has all the information.
Yeah. What do you mean as far as
I'm
information?
I'm just curious to, the location is commercial, industrial service, just locations. These are local.
That I don't know, but like I have explained before, when you put a bid out, you cannot
you-
restrict that to a geographical area.
Okay.
Now, however, as far as the qualifications, Mr. Reister has met with them, has asked them some questions. They have to go through that step. I mean, just because they're the low bidder, sometimes you just don't hand them the bid if they don't have their contractor license and all that information.
Okay.
And I think we put on our specs, they had to have so many years of experience. So as far as that goes, Mr. Reister has taken that initiative to make sure that it is a company that can do the job.
All right.
Okay,
And if, in case that something comes up, we will come back to y'all and let y'all know, hey, for some reason they don't qualify, we'll go to the next bidder.
so this not gonna be one of those situations where we accept the low bid and then y'all come back 2 months later and that wasn't enough and we need 2 more $100,000, right?
Well, as far as that, Ms. Burrell, I will tell you from experience,
Okay.
there's always a possibility of change orders if they go in there and there's something that they go in there and see. I mean, that's a construction business that, I mean, I can't, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you we're not gonna come back for something. I can't.
Yeah, I got a strange feeling we
That's
are.
how we make, say they're just going over the top though, aren't they? So they shouldn't have to go in, take everything out. So,
They been in business.
Cause if it is, I'm gonna have
it's
a
going
problem.
up every year.
Yeah.
We didn't want one.
One remaining.
That's me.
I
I'm
vote.
thinking about it real serious.
I vote.
I got you.
I mean, you thinking seriously, ain't you?
Uh-huh, cause I just can't keep seeing investing money in these buildings that then we try to get some buildings to pay. I mean, save money. We don't wanna do that, but we invest in these buildings that's not bringing no kind of revenue back to this parish. I got a problem with that. I feel like I'm cheating the taxpayer. I'ma go along with it this time. I ain't looking for y'all to come back here next month talking about, oh, it's $200,000 we gonna lose.
Motion passes.
Like them roads y'all do.
Item number 7, one of the added old business, approve the final quantity adjustment change order number 3 for Powell Road with the reduction in the cost of
there go one right there.
$4,156.66.
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Kennington, second by Mr. Rowe. Discussion.
This is just a decrease. They had extra materials left over, according to Mr. Reister, and it's just a $4,100 decrease in that change order.
Right. There's no more discussion. Would you please vote? Motion passes. The next item was added to the old business was authorize the president to sign an update indemnification with neighbors' property north of the landfill in conjunction with the construction of the biomethane gas processing.
So move.
Make a motion.
Got a motion from Mr. Ernell Jones, second by Mr. Holmes. Discussion. There's no discussion, please vote. Motion passes. New business. We're gonna skip down to number 8. Authorize the president and the council to sign the lease agreement 2024 Caterpillar Traco with the changes made per legal counsel already approved in the budget.
It's for a D8 bulldozer.
Right. You making the motion, Mr. Baker?
Yes.
I second. Discussion.
Mr. President, I looked at when we originally did this, I don't believe we had the contract with the terms in it. I think we did this during the budget process for capital outlay for the solid waste. But calculating what we're gonna pay for a 3-year lease times the monthly premium, it's gonna be around $870,000. The bulldozer brand new on the street cost $1 million. I asked the chairman right before the meeting tonight if we shouldn't think about just buying that versus leasing it. We know a bulldozer is going to last longer than 3 years. There are some maintenance issues that I'm sure come along with leasing versus buying, but you got to think the bulldozer should have at least a 1-year warranty. I would imagine we could purchase an extended for 2 more, and we end up with the same thing. But as it stands, we're gonna pay them almost full price for this in a 3-year lease, and then they're gonna turn around and sell it for almost full price to somebody else. It just doesn't make a whole lot of financial sense leasing it. It might have made financial sense back 2 years ago or whatever, Mr. Baker, you said, when we had to order the thing, because obviously lease factor rates were a lot lower then, just like interest rates were a lot lower then, but we have the money in solid waste, that's what it's there for. If we need it, I say we buy it and save the taxpayers' money.
I agree.
It's gonna take a
Is that an alternate motion?
You saying bulldozer or
I was gonna
Traco?
let
Which
somebody
bulldozer,
bulldozer.
D8.
one? Hey, Traco up there.
Yeah, it's a D8 bulldozer.
So which one is it?
It's a bulldozer.
Why they had Traco up there?
Misprint.
Oh, two different equipment, piece of equipment.
Oh, it's a bulldozer, a D8.
So yes, if there's no further questions, I'll make an alternate motion that we check into purchasing that versus the lease.
So move.
Got
Second, I mean.
You better speak.
Yeah, listen,
Yeah.
y'all put this in the budget earlier in the year, and we ordered this based upon what y'all already had approved. We just had the language changed in this contract, so if y'all do this, they're currently using it out there because y'all had authorized us to lease this. So full disclosure, if y'all do this, we're gonna have to take it out, cancel the contract with them because, I mean, we're kind of at an impasse on this at this point. I'm good with going out and finding them, but you're gonna have to, first, we're gonna have to find the equipment, then they're gonna have to build it, because they're not just readily available. They had to build this and send it up from Brazil, and that took about 8 months.
So you're saying they won't sell us this bulldozer?
Well, they can't buy that bulldozer, not with a current contract.
We haven't signed it yet.
Agreements.
I mean, why bring it to the jury tonight for a vote to approve the president to sign a contract? Why would we accept it and use it? I mean, I could understand
Because
them
y'all
delivering
had
it.
already approved the prior language, and our legal counsel pointed out there was some language in there that needed to be changed, and we brought it back to y'all to sign the document,
But-
to get it signed again. So y'all had already done this.
Is there prior approval for the president to sign the lease?
Yes, but it was under, was it Tennessee law or something?
Right, they had, that lease predated when I became your legal counsel, and when I was reviewing the lease, I didn't realize that it had already been approved, but I was asked to look at the lease for some reason. When I did, I noticed that it was governed by, I believe, Tennessee law, by a public body. You're not really supposed to, well, you're not, it's illegal to agree to be governed by another state's law. So I found that in the contract and said that that needed to be changed to be a valid lease agreement. So that modification needs to be made because that provision is improper. But if there was a signed prior agreement, it wouldn't invalidate the whole lease. It would invalidate that provision. So I guess Lily wanted to just reach out to them to see if they would change that paragraph that I asked to be modified to be compliant with the law.
So.
Is there a signed lease from 2 years ago when we ordered it? With that language?
Not that I know of, no.
So we haven't signed a lease with them?
To my knowledge, we have not, but y'all approved this in the budget. I
Doesn't matter
believe.
about that. I know the money's approved to lease it.
But there has to be.
But I want to see the copy of the lease that they gave us the first time that we so-called signed, or that
I
you're
believe
saying
that
we're
was
being
in last
bound.
month's agenda packet, wasn't it?
No.
We didn't give it to you?
No.
No, this is, the documents as far as the lease information that was presented whenever it was approved in the budget itself.
Do we have that anywhere?
I can probably find one. However, like I said, it's not signed.
I'm curious if the amounts are the same too.
Yeah.
And if
I have it. I'll have to look back at my budget numbers and stuff from last year.
We don't sign those agreements until the equipment shows up because it takes so
Correct.
long to get the equipment.
I understand.
I can get a copy for you.
But we
guys.
also don't know if we call them tomorrow and say, can we just write you a check for it, that they won't sell it to us.
Well, I do know that lease agreement has.
You can't do that, yeah.
If you cancel this lease, you have to put the machine out for bid. You have
Correct.
to go through the bidding process to be able to purchase the machine. In the meantime, Louisiana Machinery more than likely is gonna come up and pick up the machine and sell it to somebody else. And so then we're gonna have to wait another 8 months to get the new machine. And that's probably what's gonna happen.
Yeah, the lease agreement that y'all currently has a no purchase provision in there. And we cannot buy it without going out to bid for this equipment. I want to say back when we first started looking at these leases, as far as discussing versus leasing versus buying stuff, it was a big ticket item. It was that one in the compactor that we got, so you were looking at close to like $3 million last year, as opposed to leasing it for 3 and not having to worry about the maintenance. And I think at that point, I want to say it was maybe half the price of actually buying the equipment. But that is, like I said, something that I can go back and look to see the actual proposals that I got from David back when we were preparing budgets.
Mr. Norton, let me ask you this. In lieu of leasing out this piece of equipment, if something happened to it, that it was inoperable, would they bring another piece of equipment in? With the
Yes,
lease agreement?
they would be obligated to replace it with the exact same machinery or something comparable to it.
Okay. But they maintain, they do all the maintenance work, all the maintenance
Yes, sir.
updates and all
Unless
that?
unless it's destroyed by us, if there's an accident out there, we've had some other lease equipment that has been damaged by trucks running into it or something like that. Things that are our responsibility, we're responsible for, but general maintenance is all their responsibility.
We ain't got but one dozer running out there, do we? How many dozers running?
We have 2 D6s right now, and we just got one of them back. Right.
No, I say running, 'cause it wasn't but one out there.
Right. You're right.
And the undercarriages don't last long at the landfill on no doses. Yeah.
Lord. Yeah, and that mud y'all push.
Was that one of the options why we went to, saying about renting versus buying?
Yeah, but if
I
you're only,
know that
I mean,
like- I know that
I don't say I agree. I understand what he's saying right now, although I can't really say I agree until I see the original proposal, if there was one. But, I mean, I know there was a proposal, but I'm curious if that amount changed at all. But I mean, you gotta remember, a year, we're kind of in a predicament. Do you, in my opinion, do you screw the taxpayers by wasting a bunch of money? Or do you keep trash moving at the landfill? It's before your time, so it's not, I'm not faulting you or anything, and I'm, the guy that ordered it's not here anymore, so I'm not faulting you either. But you gotta understand, spending $870,000 when it cost $1 million, and it's on, we're borrowing it for 3 years and then turning it back to them. That's not a wise, not when we're sitting on 13 million in that account.
You also gotta take into consider all the maintenance and stuff.
Well, we have hired mechanics here. If we don't need them and they can't work on stuff, then maybe we need to revisit that. But for the first year, it's under warranty. If the undercarriage goes out, and then like I said, you can always buy an extended warranty for year 2 and 3, and you're in the same boat. I get what, I mean, we're in a bind. It's not a.
Mr. Kennington, I made that argument many years ago. I wasn't for really leasing as opposed to buying it. But, and I think at that time they were telling me the same thing, that, with the maintenance and all of that upkeep, that's always, is on them. It's the only reason I agreed to do it.
What'd you say, Jody? Oh.
So are you withdrawing your motion, or?
No, they been figuring that out.
What was your motion?
Well, my motion may not be possible if
So,
that's
yeah.
the only option.
Right, you wanted to buy it, purchase it, which would be in a big bind if you did that, so we have to go to the original motion then.
We have to stay with the original motion.
I think we need it. She's got it right there. I think it's better to
Because
wait.
if we buy, they're gonna,
Did we
Money.
find that?
there's not an option
Money's
for
already
us
been
to buy.
spent though, I think. Yeah, money already been spent. Like I said, we take it now. I would know for
But
rent, I
how
would
we
know for
gonna
leasing.
ever come out and none it?
Is it, you lease it for a certain length of time.
So just to let you know, the current contract that we have compared to the old one that gave us is less than what they gave us a year ago. So the year ago, the contract was a payment of 23,
That was back in August.
I'm sorry, August of 2022 was 23,202. That was her quote. This one is for 22,682. So it's a reduction. It's less expensive today to lease it than it
Did
would
the
have been.
value go down too?
They always go down.
Million.
Yeah.
You got a
They
million.
always go down.
Used.
Yeah. They always go down.
745.
Right, it was,
The original quote.
and it went down to 1,030,496.
Okay.
Or you withdraw?
I'll withdraw my alternate motion if Ms. Burrell will allow. She seconded it.
Yeah, I like.
But
Okay.
in all seriousness, going forward, financially,
I agree.
consider extended warranties and
Thank you. There's no more discussion. Please vote on the original motion. Motion passes. Next item is authorize the E911 naming of Bossier Estate Private Drive in Logansport. I make the motion.
Second.
Made the motion. Got a second by Mr. Rowe. Mr. Fuller, discussion. There's no discussion, please vote. Motion passes. And the other addition to the new business is repair culvert on State Highway 175.
So move.
Got a motion made by Mr. Jones,
Second.
second by Ms. Trina Bard, Mr. Fuller. Discussion.
Is this a driveway?
Yes.
We're not supposed to touch it.
Well, that's what he just explained.
Yeah, let me explain. I'm waiting on the comments.
Go ahead.
You know, like I said, when I introduced this, several years ago, the Judah stopped doing driveways on state roads simply because the state was asking us to do too much, things that they wouldn't even do, and it was costing us a lot of money to do. But I went to, first got in touch with our Representative Bagley, and asked him to contact Mr. North, who is over all of the state highways in this area. And he gave it his blessing. I sent them the pictures, showed them how it was, and it's kind of rapidly deteriorating. If you see, their driveway is slowly creeping away. And he has some big vehicles going in. He's gonna get to a point where he won't even be able to get in and out of his house.
Yep.
And that part right there shows it need to be dug out on the other side. And it definitely needs some work. And their driveway, they don't have the means or anything to repair that themselves. So I'm asking the jury, we would go ahead and do that for them. And they said if there was any problem, anything come up with it, to contact them, they would take care of it. So it has their blessing.
Okay. There's no more discussion, would you
Does
please?
the state still have to size that culvert, Michael? He was talking about David North too. He wasn't talking about North.
There's typically a permitting process for driveway pipe, but I'd get in touch with David North and see what the particulars are in this case.
Yeah, they do. They have to send these
It
big.
sounds like he'd be willing to take like kind in this case.
Yeah.
I have not talked with him personally.
The first time he run though.
Look like the cover too small.
But
But definitely
you
plug.
have to go through that process, cause I had one done.
He'll send an engineer out to tell you what size to go back in there, if it's the same size or bigger or whatever.
Yep.
So, yeah, they'll let you do all you wanna do.
Is this gonna be an ongoing process? Because
Yeah.
according to that picture, that culvert has filled in with dirt. So someone's not keeping their culvert cleaned out. And if they keep letting it fill up like this again, it's gonna wash out again.
One of the things that
That's
happened.
what I'm saying. You know, are we gonna go replace it again after it washes out the second time?
One thing that happened with that, and why the dirt build up like that, is, you know, all over the parish, putting in new gas lines. And those gas lines are going through those culverts. And, that's what happened. If you look on the other side, they did some work after they finished putting the gas line in. The dirt compacted, and they never went back to clear it out. And that's what, apparently, that's what happened, what made the plugs up. And the water was standing inside and washing away the culvert, washing away the, rock and all of that on the culvert. So it's not really them not keeping it up. Actually, the state's supposed to keep that
Not
up.
a water pipeline?
Gas line.
Gas line.
They're replacing gas lines all over the parish. And they finished that area. And if you, I think I may have had another shot going the other way, you can see where they still need clean some dirt away from that, drainage.
I know exactly what he's saying, because down there, across from the disco, it's the same way, and it's from that gas line that they ran down through there. And my whole thing ended up collapsing.
Mr. Ornell, if I could ask a question. Did you want us to, I mean, if the jury voting on this night, when you say repair a culvert, that can mean to clean it out,
No,
to repair, or
it's nothing
replace it
beyond
altogether?
replace it altogether.
Y'all currently have a program where the landowner purchases the culvert and the jury does the work. Is that what we're doing here? Because I want to make sure the road department has clear direction.
No,
Or do
we're
we need to
replacing the
purchase it?
culvert. We're replacing the
So
culvert.
we'll purchase the culvert, okay.
It's gonna be an
And-
ongoing deal?
Well, I figured it's just one time, just this one address till somebody else come forward.
Yeah. The landowner on the purchase of the culvert, if there isn't one. If there's one that's bad.
Right,
we
it's
replace
an existing one, so.
We replace the
So,
existing.
yeah, we would,
It's
because they,
existing.
it's already one there. So apparently,
Instead of being repair, you want to change it
Is
to
this,
replace.
is this out at the highway or is this down the drive?
Okay.
Look like it. This way
Where's
it's off
the highway,
so did they,
from this cover, how far is it
water
back out
there,
to the highway?
no water can come out,
so
so.
that,
Is
It's
this
right at the
covered on-
highway.
On state property or
Yeah.
on
That's what I'm
a
saying.
private
That's on
drive?
state
That's on state property.
It's in the state's right of way.
State's right away, that's why he got.
That's why he
state's
bring it back to the
blessing
jury.
To bring it to the jury.
And you're saying that's a gas line?
No, not
No,
that,
no.
that's a mosquito
No, that's
deal.
some kind of a torch
that's
thing.
a tiki burn.
Tiki burner there.
That's a torch.
That's a torch.
I was wondering what, y'all was talking about a line, that looked like a
Gas
pipe
line.
right there.
The gas line been buried, and
My
they
gosh,
they
if
going
that
down. They going
That
down.
that big pipe there down to that little 3/4 inch line there.
Is the culvert torn up right there, Ornell?
I'm sorry.
That picture, is that end of the culvert under that bucket, is that torn up?
Yeah.
And mostly with these metal culverts,
And they
with
put
that
that
length
there
of
so they
time,
won't
the
run
bottom
over-
of
run
it's gonna be rotting out.
Mm.
You can't see it, but it's gonna be rotting out.
One last question. What are they putting on top? Are we replacing what's on top or are we just putting gravel on top?
Probably replacing what's on top.
Yeah, they would have to replace it with dirt first and then come back probably with some SB2.
I think, is that gravel there or is that some type of oil mix?
Look like,
It appears to be
recycled,
asphalt, recycled asphalt.
yeah, recycled material.
This wood don't wanna do it.
Or some deteriorated oil mix or something.
Mr. Reister, do you have an opinion? Of-
We can take care of it. This just is, Mr. Ernell just asking you to make an exception on, or not working on the state right of ways. As far as fixing it, we can fix it. And it's not an issue. It's, it just, we're
Yeah.
asking for an exception to work on within the state right of way.
They had the state blessings.
How
And they-
how
and
many
they-
more of these though, will we gonna have to make an exception to once we do this one?
Well, if you bring, depending on how many more come up.
Well, that's what
How
I'm
many more
asking.
gonna come up? But if you have one, someone have come up, then bring it to the jury. We'll vote on whether or not we can do it. Just like I just did.
I'm not,
So that's not, you know,
So the state gonna pay for us doing it, right?
state just giving us permission to do it.
Oh, they just give it.
Permission to not,
do
all
we
of the
have a
requirements they
cost?
had wanted us to do on state roads, they, doing away with all those requirements. They want us to fix it as is, allowing us to fix it as is.
Do you have an
Do
approximate
we have
cost?
approximate cost?
No.
It'd be the cost of some back, some stone to go to the top of it, clamps, load of stone and the culvert itself.
right.
Be, I'd say, $3,000.
If that.
Well, I think the problem.
So we have 5 remaining, if there's no more discussion.
an issue like that anymore. But, I mean, I'm like, fix it. Cause I think we should be looking into fixing stuff like that anyway. I mean, I think you should. I don't know.
Motion passes. Okay. Resolution. Recommend authorize the president to sign a resolution for the assignment of the state agency license number 20218 from SMEP, all of their rights, titles, and interests in said lease until GEP Haynesville number 2 LLC.
So moved.
Got a motion by Mr. Kennedy, second by Mr. Holmes. Discussion. There's no discussion. Would you please vote? Motion passes. Item 12, recommend authorize the president to sign a state project number H015175, obstructive remover or runway 36 approaching phase 3, construction CE Rusty William Airport Agreement Resolution.
So,
I got a motion by Mr. Baker,
second.
second by Mrs. Simpson. Discussion. There's no discussion. Would you please vote? Motion passes. Administrative item.
Administrative items, number 13, recommends accepting the resignation of LaTarsha Shelton and appointing Bruce Carroll to the MS Board for the remaining term expiring July of 2024.
So moved.
Got it. Mr. Morrell made the motion, second by Mr. Fuller.
Can I, question? I mean, I know
Discussion.
he's doing the remaining time. Can we just go on, extend the term limit? Can we add that to that? Do an alternate motion to add that? So it doesn't have to come back in here?
Term expiring. Hope it's already
Say that again, excuse me.
He's finishing up Ms. Tasha Shelton's time. So he'll be
Bless
back, the same thing will be back on the agenda in July again. So can we just, add the next term to it as well?
I think you can do
Is
it.
that
They
possible?
all at the same
Well,
time.
Yeah, I think you can do that.
Yeah.
Those seats are all appointed at the same time. Y'all appoint them all at the same time, so, yeah.
Yeah. So if there's no more discussion, please vote. Motion passes.
Number 14, recommends accepting the resignation of Michael Rister from Waterworks District 1 Board.
So moved.
I got, Mr. Rowe made the motion,
Second.
second by Mr. Kennington. Discussion. So as Mr. Rice is getting off, someone gonna have to get on, correct? Something to think about, Ms. Burrell, just putting it out there, letting you know this board here, need somebody else
He
to,
come from my district, I was gonna let the new police chairman make the choice.
okay? We're honored that choice then, Mr. Rowe. Please vote.
Did you hear, Reggie? Did you hear?
Do I?
Did you hear? You ever been here?
One remaining.
I mashed the bird.
Motion passes.
All right, item number 15, recommends rescinding the authorization for jurors and employees hunting on any jury property.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Rowe made the motion. Ms. Burrell and Rodriguez seconded. Discussion. There's no discussion, please vote. Motion passes.
Item number 16, recommends accepting the resignation of Michael Rister and appoint Tim McQuarrie to the Fire District 9 Board of Commissioners, serving the remaining term expiring in 2024, and reappoint Ross Tillsbury and John Prince to the Fire District 9 Board of Commissioners for a 2-year term.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Rowe made the motion, seconded by Mr. Kennington. Discussion? There's no discussion. Please vote. Motion passes.
Item number 17, recommends reappointing Shirley Payne and Mary Thompson to the DeSoto Parish Tourism Commission, serving a 3-year term.
So moved. Rodriguez made the motion, seconded by Mr. Fuller. Discussion? There's no discussion. Please vote. Motion passes.
Item number 18, recommends reappointing Michelle Abington Cooper, Margaret Dickerson, and Leon Hunt to the DeSoto Parish Library Board of Control for a 5-year term.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Burrell made the motion, seconded by Mrs. Boyd. Discussion? There's no discussion. Please vote. Motion passes.
Item number 19, recommends amending the 2023 holiday schedule for the Christmas holiday to change from Friday and Monday, the 22nd and the 25th, to Monday and Tuesday, the 25th and 26th.
So move.
Second.
Got a motion by Mr. Jones, second by Mrs. Simpson. Discussion? With the finance department, where we was gonna make this timing to, was the finance department gonna have time to make time and to make?
Yes, we're gonna have some employees have to come in on Tuesday because that's a really large payroll period. We have 3 payrolls. We have the vacation payout that has to be done. We have year-end checks, child support, things like that that have to be processed. So we have no choice but to have some employees work on Tuesday, which, I mean, we've already discussed it with them and they're fine
Okay.
with that.
Mr. President, one other thing I want to mention, you know, at the time, when I brought this to the committee, the state hadn't decided on what they're doing it, but they, since have signed a proclamation, and they'll be taking those same dates.
Okay. Thank you. One remaining.
Mr. Parker,
Mr. P.
you second Jerry's job.
Motion
I don't know
passes.
if I wanted to be off on Tuesday or not. Think about it.
Motion passes. Budget and finance.
Budget and Finance recommends amending the budget to transfer $120,000 from the general fund to the Office of Community Service Fund.
So move. Second.
Got a mover by Mr. Fuller, second by Mr. Jones. Discussion? There's no discussion, please vote.
Come on, what?
What is this?
See you there?
Motion passes.
See ya.
Insurance.
Insurance. Item 21, recommend staying with United Healthcare as is effective January 1st, 2024, and later in the year looking to change to self-insured.
Make a motion.
Mr. Burrell?
Huh? What?
Oh, I thought you had something.
Yeah, I do.
Can't wait to get on the floor.
I do. I want to make an alternate motion. Cause I can't see why we just don't, why we gonna go with United Healthcare them 2 months when it's only gonna cost us $55,000. They burn $55,000 on little or nothing for our employees won't have to eat that cost. Or I'd rather just go into the self-insured. I don't see why we waiting, cause it's gonna be a bit. I talked to Miss Garcia. I came down and talked to Miss Garcia. Can you explain that?
What you mean, Ms. Burrell, not to go,
Not to
later
go
in the
with
year?
United Healthcare. Yeah, cause I just can't see why we'll go with United Healthcare for 2 months and then decide just go into the self-insured plan. And y'all was talking about the school board. That's the plans they got. Or which is gonna be a better plan, and it's gonna save us money. Cause if we go with United Healthcare, what the brokers make, about $80,000 a year? It's cheaper for us to just eat the
So you got a alternate motion on the floor,
Yep, my alternate motion
and.
is
who
to
second?
move forward with the self-insured plan with Blue Cross Blue Shield at the 20% increase. And freeze the premium to where we have it now. That gonna make sense to me, better sense.
Could you please just read your alternate motion one more time?
Okay, my alternate motion is to move forward with the self-insured plan with Blue Cross Blue Shield at a 20% increase and freeze the premium where it currently is to create a bank account for the self-insured plan. That's my motion.
But is that to make Hub, who's the broker? Who's gonna be the broker?
And we can decide on the broker tonight, but I don't want to do the United Healthcare plan. I'd rather go straight into the self-insured plan, cause that ain't making sense to me when the 20%, cause this problem I got. If we get these employees, the COLA, we get them a raise, it's gonna cost them more for this insurance for these months than it is what we giving them a raise. So you might well not give them anything. Y'all know I'm for the employees. I'm for investing in our employees, cause if we invest in them, they'll invest in us. So I don't want to see them eat the cost, especially if that 20% increase ain't gonna cost us but $55,000. We add that to a road, like them roads I'm talking about. We'll come back and add that, and we can't invest that into our employees. Just go into the self-insured plan with Blue Cross Blue Shield and eat that increase. We need to eat that increase. We need to care more about our employees than that, y'all. I don't want to start the year off on the wrong foot. It's time for us to get on the good foot, all of us.
I'll second your alternate motion.
Yeah, right.
Is that, well, who's the broker gonna be?
Miss Burrell, you realize, let me make sure you're wanting to do self-insured with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Is that what you just said?
Mm-hmm. That's
So
what I
you
said.
just picked the highest proposal we had
But look at the increase.
for the employee, not for us. I mean, I don't know about for us, but the employee, just an employee, no family, just a single employee, that cost us $264.81 a person. That's the highest quote we got.
Ms. Garcia, can you help me out
Well,
here?
she's wanting her motion is to freeze the rates at what we currently have the employee paying. If you go self-insure, you can go ahead and, establish your own premium rates. Now, from the brokers that I have talked to, Jay Willen was one that had told us, Based on claims, based on history, he said, I will leave those rates at where you're currently at right now. That was pretty much what we got from when we sat with them. So in her alternate motion, I think that is what she's bringing. Bottom line, I think everybody's in agreement right now that they want Blue Cross Blue Shield. And like I told her, if the jury as a whole, their intentions is to go self-funded, to me, it's just, well, go ahead and just pull the trigger and do self-funding. I don't necessarily see why you're gonna take 28% United Health for a few months and then go self-funded later on. That was my recommendation as far as that. Now, the freezing of premiums, like I said, talked to most brokers, and what they recommended was to stick with the current premiums that we are currently having employees pay, which I think it's on that list, Mr. Kennington. But like I said, that comes from feedback that I got from the brokers of saying, where should I go ahead and line those premiums? And all of them kind of recommended stick with what you have right now.
Okay. Any more questions? So,
So,
go ahead.
to make sure I understand the math, because that's what means most to me. It's gonna cost you $15,000 more a year to go with that plan. Extra, above and beyond the cost of switching to self-insured. So you're gonna spend the money that it cost us to start up the self-insured plan. This the money we have to set aside.
Correct.
Plus an additional 15,000, and you're still gonna give employees a cost of living and a merit raise.
Yeah,
Is that what you're saying?
exactly. I'm saying invest in our employees. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. We need to invest in our employees.
Do you know what that increase would equate to?
I don't.
You factored in a 3% COLA, right? Already?
Yes, already.
So the merit increase would be above 3%. Probably what, another 1.25?
Probably. I mean,
Then you
it's-
add in $75 for an employee a month.
How many employees do we have?
200, wasn't it, on the plan?
200?
It was 100 and.
There's 131.
it's
131.
But with added family, it was 2 something. 200 something, yeah.
For, in the
because
plan
of-
itself, yes, but
Family, it's gonna cost them. It's gonna
It'll
cost.
cost more
them
than
employees.
15,000 then.
Oh, yeah.
And it's gonna be more than what we.
131 times 75 times 12, 120,000, 118.
Yeah.
So, we got an alternate motion on the floor, we'll vote on. If it fails, we'll go back to the original motion. Please vote.
Go back to insurance committee again, let me look at it.
One remaining.
Oh, Mr. Baker.
I heard him grunt, he's still thinking. That's a whole thing.
50-50.
Oh,
Make another alternate motion.
3 months so you can touch it again.
I don't think you can.
Can't make another alternate motion? So it goes back to the original motion?
Can't have two at the same time, right?
Well, maybe that's it.
That gives time to
I
set.
think that's
Can't
what
make
it
an
is.
alternate on an alternate. If the alternate fails,
That's where it fail.
Yeah.
Make an alternate motion that we refer it back to the insurance committee
we're
again.
missing one.
Okay, we got Mr. Holmes have the floor.
I
Repeat.
make an alternate motion that we refer it back to the insurance committee and let them relook it look it over again and decide what they want to do with it at that time. If we want to go self-insured, then I'm all for going it right away.
Yeah.
But let's send it back to the insurance committee and let them bring something back to the full jury.
I second it.
Okay, Mr. Jones, second.
And in doing
Did you
so,
hear that,
we
Ms. Jody?
decide on the
Ms. Ziegler?
on the brokers.
I think so. I'll go back and listen to it.
Okay.
Can I just let you know that, and Carrie, correct me if I'm wrong, but we have to have some decision as far as for payroll purposes, because she starts taking those premiums from the employees in December for the January premiums. So if you're sending it back to the insurance committee, unless we're hosting a special meeting for that purposes, I don't think that's gonna give us enough time for Carrie to do, for payroll to do what they need to do.
Well, that was the reason for us going with what we had already and keeping it like it was, so that the insurance committee could have time to look into this. That was the reason for this. But yes, if we need to have a special meeting, then we can do that.
We have 'em for everything. Yeah. Have a special
And correct me if I'm wrong, if we do nothing, if we don't change a thing, our insurance that we currently have with our current company is still in place. It just goes to a new premium instead of the old premium. He's giving me a thumbs up
Correct.
behind you.
It's in place.
We don't have to be in a contract with them. We don't have to renew an annual contract with them.
So
I
we just,
don't want no part of United Healthcare. I'm telling you.
And so Carrie can if she has to debit stuff in payroll, she can just debit the new
what they
premium.
do. Okay.
Okay, so we'll have another alternate motion on
Open
the floor.
enrollment is still December, isn't it?
Sir?
Open enrollment is still in December for. we're going with
I think January.
time.
For January 1.
All right, would you please vote?
And we also need to, decide what brokers we gonna use. I really understand. We need to quit using these same people over and over and over. They
Motion
ain't doing
passes.
nothing. You ain't got no benefits from all these years. You
Road item.
Recommend authorize the president to sign a change order number 2 for road drainage improvement on Charlie Jones, Dow Mouse, and Nash Road 2016 FEMA.
Got a motion by Mr. Kennedy,
Yeah.
second by Ms. Burrell. Discussion. There's no discussion, please vote. Motion passes.
Recommend amending the cooperative endeavor agreement with the town of Logansport to amend the road budget in amount of $29,000 for overlay on the remainder part of Lover Lane.
Got a motion by Mr. Baker,
Second.
second by Mrs. Simpson. Discussion. There's no discussion, please vote. Motion passes.
So move.
Motion to adjourn by Mr. Rowe, second by everyone. We adjourn. Good night, everyone, and have a blessed holiday, Thanksgiving.
I don't let them be so excited.